Hey guys, it's Nikus, and this is the LEGO Ninjago Dragons Rising Dragonian Storm Village set number 71841 with 305 pieces. This retails for $40, however, I got this on sale for $30 at Target, so not a bad deal if I say so myself. As you can see, this 300 piece set has a pretty stacked minifigure lineup, which is definitely the main draw of the set, so let's take a look at those first. First off, we have Zane. I believe these are the Storm outfits, and they're definitely pretty cool. His weapons is one of these clear katanas, which I believe these are the prismatic blades. I have not seen Dragons Rising yet, so please go easy on me when it comes to my actual knowledge of the storylines of these seasons and whatnot. But yeah, these are definitely some pretty cool suits. I like the detailing on the front of the torso. These masks, these new masks are definitely very interesting. He also has a different face print, at least than his old movie face. This one is obviously just a pretty upset one. And then he also has an alternate face, which is the visor that they've been getting all the Dragons Rising Ninja for some reason. Not a huge fan of these visors, but I mean, it looks alright with the mask on. I prefer the Ninja with, you know, their actual eyes peeking through. They also come with this newer scabbard piece. I don't know how new it is really, but it definitely is pretty interesting. This is a more like, not really gunmetal gray, just kind of a dark gray color. But of course, like the classic scabbards, you can just fit two swords in there, and there's also like a little bit of wrapping on there, which is definitely really cool looking. And then of course there is his back detailing. Yeah, just pretty simple, but still pretty cool. I definitely like it a lot. Next minifigure is Nia. She is also in her storm suit, and it also looks pretty great. Love the predominantly gunmetal gray with the blue highlights. I've always liked that color scheme for Nia the most. And of course she has the same mask mold as Zane, just in her respective colors. She has a very exaggerated smile face print. Of course, this is different from her classic movie face because she also has her kind of Dragons Rising style visor on the back, which again, much like Zane, you know, looks alright, just not my favorite. I always prefer them with their, you know, eyes showing through. She of course also has the same scabbard piece as Zane, which can hold her two gold katanas, which is of course the only weapon she comes with. And then on the back of her torso, just some more, you know, simple detailing, pretty similar to Zane's, just in Nia's respective colors. That's one thing that I'm a little mixed on these suits. You can see that, like, right here, they have their unique elemental symbols. You can see Zane's right there. So there is a little variation in them, but as you can see, for the most part, these are very similarly designed, which is a little disappointing. I always liked how a lot of the suit lineups back then, you know, they had like similar styles to them, but like they often had something unique about them. So it is a little disappointing to see that these modern suits aren't as unique as the older suits used to be. Next up, we have one of the coolest figures. This is Rogue, who is actually Jay as a bounty hunter. And this is a really cool looking suit for him. His weapons are these kind of lightning blades with the dragon blade hilt in black, which is very cool. He just has two of those. And yeah, so you can see, you know, his torso printing is pretty simple, but it looks pretty cool for a bounty hunter. He has a very large conical hat that covers his eyes and kind of casts a shadow over his face, which is pretty fun. As you can see, yeah, there he is with his iconic, well, now iconic freckles for his movie design. He has the dark blue half mask, and as you can see, wow, his main expression, he's pretty grumpy. He's definitely changed. He has no printing on the back of his head, just because, yeah, he has the big conical hat, doesn't have a hairpiece, so you can see on the back of his head. But yeah, that's a little funny looking. Yeah, just a very angry Jay expression. He has the same scabbard as the other ninja, just in gold. And then there is his back detailing. I guess that is his new symbol. It looks a little like his old symbol. But yeah, that is his rogue symbol. But yeah, as I said, you know, I haven't seen Dragons Rising. I don't know the full context of Jay being, you know, a rogue. Next up, we have what is definitely one of the biggest draws for the set. This is the new version of Moro. Now, of course, I have no idea why he's back, but it is very cool that he is back, and this is an amazing minifigure. This does look like if they were to, you know, make a Legacy Moro, it's pretty in line with his original design, but definitely modernized a bit. I really like his trans green arm. That definitely works pretty well with his ghostly presence. His weapon is just this kind of two-sided blade staff. And then also, of course, he has this classic hair that he had back in 2015. He has a dark green half mask and the armor that they introduced back in Legacy. And his facial expression is smiling. So it definitely seems like this Moro is probably more of a good guy. He also has an angry expression over here. Yeah, he's very angry about something. He has some more ghostly green eyes, and of course there's his back printing. But the smiling expression here, and also the fact that the last time we saw him in Day of the Departed, he was a good guy, that definitely makes me inclined to believe that he's going to be, or at least he is more of a good guy when he returns in Dragons Rising, I believe Season 3. But it is very, very cool to have a new Moro figure, and this is a pretty great figure. This is like the Legacy Moro that I always wanted that we never ended up getting, so it is really cool to finally see that come to fruition in some way. And I am looking forward to finally watching Dragons Rising and see, like, why is Moro back? What happened there? Our last two minifigures are Dragonian Warriors. This guy has some really cool torso printing and leg printing. I really like his dragon claw feet. His weapon is just a giant axe, but it's a really cool two-sided axe build. I definitely like that a lot. And then, yeah, he has some really cool gunmetal gray armor that, yeah, goes all the way down his back. He even has some studs here because you can attach like a little dragon to it. We'll see it with the next guy, but there is his front printing with no armor, and then also his back printing, which is very, very cool. It's got some light scuffs on it, definitely looks a little battle worn. And then there is his face print in better detail, and he also has this cool tan mohawk, definitely kind of a badass. And then the back, yeah, he just has some kind of dragon scale pattern, but that definitely looks very, very cool. Here is the other Dragonian warrior, and this one is also really cool. He has one of these giant swords, and then I believe his torso and leg printing is the exact same as the other guy. He has the same armor printing, but he does have this really cool like top half of like a dragon helmet, which fits really well with his bottom armor piece, as the bottom is, you know, the jaw of the dragon and the top is the top of his mouth, but it's definitely pretty cool. On his back, hanging on the armor, is a little like baby dragon, which is definitely a really fun little inclusion. And then you can also, if I can take his helmet off, you can turn his head around and then have just, yeah, him shooting fire, which is definitely a pretty cool looking thing. But yeah, as you can see on the back, this helmet piece pretty much covers up the entire back of his head, and it's got some horns sticking out that also fall off pretty easily. And that baby dragon just attaches to his back, and it sits really nicely, you know, right there. So it fits in pretty well. It gives him wings, which is definitely very cool. Yeah, this is very cool villain figure. I know these are just the villain scouts for this season, but these are definitely really cool ones. So yeah, that is the last minifigure. There is also another baby dragon, which you know, in theory you could kind of put on the back of this other guy. You have to take off his mohawk in order to do that, and you know, that looks fine. You know, there is another dragon helmet piece that you can put on him, so you can do that, I guess, if you want to. But it is also just kind of here just to have a additional little baby dragon, which is a fun little inclusion. Now, before we look at the main build, I also want to look at a side build. This is a giant spinner, which is definitely pretty cool. It's got these really big, I don't even know what these are supposed to be, just these really big pieces that make this a really fun little spinner. And there are some slots on here where you can place some minifigures. So, you know, if you want to be like, oh, you know, Nia and Moro are battling, they're having their, you know, rematch, and then you can just spin it, and you know, it's a little easier when you don't have anything in the way. And it also is easier when you don't have any minifigures on it, because then you can just grab this top piece here and just spin, and it spins pretty well. This is definitely pretty cool. It's a decent, you know, brick build spinner, and yeah, it's just definitely pretty cool. I believe you can put a minifigure on top of here like that, and then yeah, it's kind of hard to spin it like that, and it's of course hard to spin it with the minifigure on there. You know, we kind of get it spinning. It definitely falls a little off balance with minifigures on there, but without minifigures, it spins pretty decently. And then, you know, you can set a minifigure right here, and then it'll, yeah, knock him over eventually. So it's, you know, a decent little side build, just a fun little spinner to mess around with. But now let's move on to the main build, and as you can see, it is decently tall for a little build like this. Of course, this is a village. This isn't like a huge village by any means, but it is, you know, a decent size. Starting off here on the bottom, on the left side, as you can see, we have just a little lantern with kind of a red light. We have a little weapon rack over here, so we have one of these giant swords, and then you could also put, you know, say Moro's weapon or someone else's weapon right there. You got some kind of overgrown branches here, some nice brick pattern. This kind of leads to the main section with this very ominous looking face here. I definitely like that. Got some nice pieces to represent some teeth down there. As you can see up front, there are a couple more brick pieces to kind of give off that facade. On the left, you have another kind of branch piece. And then on the other side you have a, as you can see, it is detachable. You've got a little prison cell, and this is a pretty decent prison cell build. The two bars open separately, which is a little weird, but you can put one of the ninja in there. It's definitely easy without the swords, but you can just stick one of them in there, close it up, and then boom, one of them's trapped, and you can have the other ninja come and save them. Again, it's easily removable. It's got a little leaf piece on top with a little dead branch to kind of hold it in. But yeah, decent little prison cell build. Definitely more unique than a lot of the ones that we've seen over the years. So yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Moving up a floor, we've got two banners with some ominous looking spikes, and then we also have a little bridge here with a play feature that is very reminiscent of the classic tournament set Lava Falls. Basically, you place a minifigure on the bridge. It's a little hard to kind of stand them up straight. And then on the side, there is this red ball, and you just grab it, pull it, and then this rod on the bottom pulls back, and the ninja drops down into the kind of dungeon. Yeah, it's a pretty simple little play feature, but it definitely is really fun. I really love how it takes me back to that classic Lava Falls set. Simple feature, works pretty well, definitely cool to see in a set like this. And moving up, there's a little doorway, and there are some studs behind it, so you can place a minifigure up here like they're looking out of there. You have some more lanterns here, you have another kind of dead piece of plant coming off of the side. And then on the very top, as you can see, there is another one of these dragon heads. So you could take this off and put it on the other Dragonian scout to make it another, I guess, Dragonian warrior. But yeah, just some simple temple facade to give it that kind of temple atmosphere. And yeah, that's the main part of the structure. There was also this black rope that kind of comes down across the side. You know, basically you can just stick any minifigure you want on there. It is the newer kind of spiderweb piece that they use for Spider-Man. Just printed in black, so it's kind of a rope piece. A little hard to stick hands on there. Hello. Took a little more effort than I would have liked it to, but yeah, as you can see, you know, you can have little ninja hanging off of there, which is definitely a fun little thing. Lastly, on the inside and the back, there is a little area down here. There's a skeleton here, so if you want to include this, you could say that there are 7 minifigures in this set. I don't. It's just kind of a funny little skeleton that's just sitting here. And then of course this is just the little back area that your minifigure will fall into whenever you use the bridge mechanism. So I guess it's kind of like a dungeon that they, you know, fall into. But yeah, it's just cool to have like a very, you know, little interior. It's not really much of an interior, but just kind of somewhere inside that I guess you could have some minifigures hanging out in. But yeah, you have these big rock pieces on the wall to kind of give it that kind of texturing. And that's pretty much it for this set. So yeah, that is the Dragonian Storm Village. It definitely is going to go on to be an all-timer Ninjago set. It reminds me a lot of the Legacy Tournament of Elements and also like the Gamers Market, where these are just kind of glorified minifigure packs. But there's nothing wrong with that because these are absolutely phenomenal minifigures. You know, you have a really great Moro and Rogue, you got 2 cool ninja, and then you also got some Dragonian warriors to add to your army of them. But yeah, thank you guys for watching this review. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys later.